What is up? It's Scott Tejerian from the Weekly Transit Astrology podcast, here with our sports and astrology segment with Samantha Dottin, where in the last two videos we talked about Stephan A. Smith and Skip Bayless. We're deep in the sports soap opera astrology vibes right here. You know, the history of these two men. They started First Take together, like one of the first live radio on TV, two grown men screaming and arguing with each other about sports. They were together from 2007 to 2016 and then moved on from each other. And Shannon Sharp, Hall of Famer, came in and worked with Skip. Now he's moved on and he's back with, he's hanging with Stephan A. So yeah, it's like a guy who's hooking up with another guy's ex-lady. You know, sorry, Shannon. I know you're a man. You would turn me into a pretzel. I know you would. So, but you're a nice man. You're a Cancer. So we're going to get to your chart too, Shannon. Send us your birth times if you're watching this and you are enjoying astrology, because what we're here to do is to teach you the language of astrology, to help you learn to become fluent, or at the very least conversational in the language of astrology, so that you can have a deeper understanding of yourself, deeper acceptance of yourself, greater appreciation of yourself, and most importantly, learning to love yourself. That is why we're here, myself and Samantha. And if you'd like help with your astrological code, understanding the planets, the stars, and how they shaped you and how to work with the energy, contact me for a reading at theweeklytransit.com. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Let's get to it. Sam, let's look at this. So we don't know the time of birth. We're just looking at planets here. What's connecting to what? What's happening here? Oh my God. So Shannon, or Skip is a Mars in Libra and a Sagittarius sun. Stephan A is a Mars in Sagittarius and a Libra sun. So their Marses are in the signs of their suns. So that immediately creates some sort of, you know, connection and vibration and understanding of each other. Like the way that Stephan A moves is something that Skip understands. The way that Skip moves is something that Stephan A understands. But they have this sort of karmic bond with each other, with Skip's Pluto at 21 degrees in Leo, forming a sextile to Stephan A's sun. Karmic bond. These two, this is not the first lifetime that these two have been tete-a-tete and arguing with each other and going back and forth about whatever. You know, maybe they were 100 years ago talking about boxing or something, you know, at the pub in England or something. You know what I mean? So
I hope so.
Exactly. This is not their first dance with each other for sure. Neptune, Skip's Neptune conjunct Stephan A's sun.
Ooh.
So there is some sort of illusion or deception or compassion. There's some sort of ethereal feeling. You know, maybe they felt like they were getting under each other's skin. And there could have been some challenges there, having trouble seeing each other. It might have started out with this sort of idealization of one another that slowly devolved into not trusting one another, feeling deceived by the other. With Neptune conjunct the sun, it begins with like this fantasy. It's like, oh wow, this is amazing, this is such a good partnership, and then eventually it devolves into something where you're not sure what's going on and if you can trust the other person. Pluto, 21 degrees, is squaring Stephan A's Neptune. So that is part of that distrust, transforming Stephan A's unconscious mind. Though Mercury at 14 degrees, Stephan A's mind, aspecting Skip's Uranus. So this is a positive aspect, a trine. Skip has a way of just awakening Stephan A's mind, stimulating it in some way, giving it the juice that it needs to really find his flow. So these are some of the aspects and how they worked with each other. I really wish I had the time of birth, because that would give us so much more. Venus also and Neptune forming a sextile with for Skip with Stephan A's Mars. This is part of the attraction in the beginning, is Neptune and Venus sextile Stephan A's Mars. But eventually, the Neptune or Pluto squaring Stephan A's Neptune, that longer transit, they had a good run. They had 9 years, 10 years together. So, that's a great run. I mean, it's an amazing run. And it was time for them to move on.
Yeah. Scott, you do couple readings as well, correct?
Yes, totally.
Yeah. So if hypothetically, if Skip and Stephen were married and they came to you before they broke up and was like, hey, what in the chart can you see that might be some things that might help them out?
I would say, really be mindful of that deception piece of Neptune squaring Pluto and Neptune. So Skip's Pluto is squaring Stephan A's Neptune, and Skip's Neptune is conjunct Stephan A's Sun. So I would say, listen, like, there's a lot of idealization between the two of you. There's, the two of you may look at each other in this kind of haze of fantasy, and you're thinking of each other maybe better than you should, because you're going to end up disappointing one another. You have to remember that you two are human beings. You're both men, and there's going to be things that one of you does that the other person isn't going to like, and so on and so forth. So you need to just take it slow when things get uncomfortable between the two of you, and really focus in on your communication. You want to not allow the emotions to get too involved in the communication. You want to try to be more rational with the way that you're speaking to one another. So that's the big key, the big takeaway for the two of them, because otherwise they're going to start thinking, well, he's thinking this and he's thinking that, and they're making up stories in their mind about each other. You got to back it up with fact. So slow down. You're not going to speed through a cloud, a fog. If you're driving a car and it's foggy, you don't hit the gas. You're going slow. So I'd say take it slow. Take it slow with each other. And when things get intense, slow down. Slow down. Back up your intuition with facts. What are the facts? And the way you know the facts is by asking the other person, not assuming it in your mind. Well, I saw him do this and do that. No, that's when you're not seeing the full picture. You're lost in the clouds.
Cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome, Sam. Thank you for that question. And thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe, contact me for a reading. Catch us back in the next video where we look at Shannon Sharpe and then how he plays in with both of these men, Stephan A. Smith and Skip Bayless.